it's one of those leveling games where anything can happen on the day because of the emotion around it and all these other factors. You forget about how bad you've been going. You also forget about how good you've been going. So it does level the playing field, and the odds will be stacked against us, but it doesn't always mean a lot on Anzac Day, and we've seen a history of that throughout the great clashes.
Jason, what do you got? How are you,
Nice.
mate?
Good, thanks, man.
268 games for the Dragons, 33 test matches for the Kiwis. You made your debut down the road at Jubilee Oval. We're at the Banksia Hotel today. Tell us about when you played Penrith on your debut, and you actually scored a try on debut as well.
I did. Yeah, crazy to think all those years ago, many years ago, but yeah, awesome to debut at home. And my debut started with a great big error. First ball I ever got past, I dropped. So that's one of the memories. Second ball I ever got kicked to me, I dropped. And then not long after that, I scored a try in the corner and thought I was a superstar from day one. So all forgotten, and hence the air of optimism. But yeah, it was such a great experience to debut in a ground that I played a lot of time, but so much history had come before me, and a combination of effort and energy to get to a point now in my career that I could don the red V.
Very parochial fans, the Dragons, but what does playing for the Dragons mean to the community?
Well, it is everything, and I think that's, if you are immersed, I was immersed in it from a young age. Went to primary school in the area, and a lot of my friends are lifelong Dragons fans, so there is a give back that you have to give within that. Illawarra is the same, and having that really strong grassroots connection allows you to respect and understand those that come before you, but then also what it means to you and what you have to do to earn that. It's very much you respect the jersey and you borrow it, and you a privilege to be part of that, but what that give back has to go. So I think that is the benefit of anyone that plays for their senior level club as a junior. You get the stage of it rather than being recruited to a club.
When you have that connection with the community, the fans, as a player, how difficult then is it every couple of years when you come off contract, so to speak? Because you had opportunities to leave, but there's a strong connection to stay with the group, but there's also a strong connection to the community to stay there because they've supported you for so many years.
Well, to be fair, there was a couple of, obviously it came off contract many times, but those conversations are difficult, but the club's credit, they always had an offer. Even in my year retired, I was offered to play on, but even the club had a 1 year offer on the table, 1 year deal when I retired. So I think having that, a lot of players don't always have the privilege of being, yes, here's your offer, we want to keep you. And I suppose that's the first thing that goes into being able to stay, is having an offer there. And the club was always so good to me that even up until I retired, there was an offer to keep playing rugby league for the Dragons. And that helps. That's probably the main thing. And then secondary to that is you have to weigh up everything, all those extra things, and about what it means to you, what it means to your family, where do you live, where do your friends, all that sort of stuff, to not have to move, whether that be even a Sydney-based club. You've got to, it's something that's intrinsic, and you do have to put a value on that beyond dollar amount.
Anzac Day is always a fantastic day. You get 40,000 people at the SCG, and two rivals, the Dragons and the Roosters, going at each other. Hasn't been a great start for the Dragons this season. What gives you the confidence that they can turn it around in this game?
One of those games where you're externally motivated. It's not hard to turn up and play well. It doesn't matter if you're the hot favourite or the massive underdog. It's one of those levelling games where anything can happen on the day because of the emotion around it and all these other factors. You forget about how bad you've been going. You also forget about how good you've been going. So it does level the playing field, and I think of many games where we've been underdogs and won, and many games where we've been hot favourites and lost. So I suppose it does, I don't know what the odds will be stacked against us, but it doesn't always mean a lot on Anzac Day, and we've seen a history of that throughout the great clashes.
And it's an early season game, but I'm sensing the build-up that week. You notice it's a different build-up to any other game.
It is, and you have to manage it as well. I've had ones where you've turned up a week out and they start to talk about it, and you get the military speakers in who really give you motivational things, and then you time it well and you taper that off. So managing the emotion is a big part of that. So because it's easy to overload that. And because you're just like, oh, but then you've got to get back on the horse after it. You don't want to, you know, so really exciting thing to be part of. And like I said, you as a player, as an individual, doesn't need to work too hard to motivate yourself. It's all your external motivations are all around you, whether it's packed crowd, fans in the stadium, the last post, all the ceremony beforehand, people coming in and speaking to you about the day from a military perspective. All those things allow you to put into perspective and make preparing easy.
A lot of people, when they finish their sport, they walk away. Other people like to be involved. You, at the moment, you're on the board of the Dragons Junior Rugby League, and it's a way of giving back, obviously. Why do you feel the obligation or sense of responsibility to give something back?
The club has always looked after me. I point that out as why I never left. Is the club always looked after me and was there for me when I needed it. And it's those things are still self-serving. Like even though I'm on the board of the district or working within the NRL or working for the Dragons, it is selfless, is giving back, but it's also self-serving. It keeps what I love and what is a big part of who I am connected to that, and being able to give back, whether that be commercially or advice or mentoring or whatever it is in the game, is important for. I'm not isolated in that. A lot of people do that, and I think especially when you're a one club player, it's even more important to respect where you came from, but it makes me feel good, and if I can make a benefit to the club around me, then why would you not? Yeah.
We know. Now, if you were talking to a kid about coming to play for the Dragons, what would you say to them about why they should join the Dragons, and what's the connection between the players, the fans, the community, and why is it so special to pull on that red V?
Yeah, the brand speaks for itself, and that goes beyond anything. The amount of supporters that are so far and wide because of the memories of the 60s are all over the world, and they've got, like you followed the Roosters as a kid because your dad, these people have been corrupted red and white from the day they were born because of their parents and their grandparents, and that brand and affiliation is a huge community. So it's a huge community part of, driven by a district of St George and the Illawarra area region, which is growing. So I suppose that's probably the biggest thing, the amount of heritage and history that goes into it, and the feeling that you get playing Anzac Day. That's pretty special, and the general interest that creates pressure, but also privilege to be involved in the brand.
Well, it's been my privilege today to speak to you. Thanks, Jase.
Thanks, Loz.